It's winter. Are you prepared for winter power outages? In today's video, I'm going to talk about some simple preps that you can do to prepare for power outages in the winter. Hi friends. If you're new here, my name is Jen. On this channel, we talk about gardening, nature, foraging, prepping, simple do-it-yourself tasks that you can do around the house, and of course, dogs. So it's winter, and if you live where I live, you know that power outages are going to happen, and it's cold. It's cold where I live. There are some simple things that I do to prepare for winter power outages. In the winter, it's a little bit different because it is cold and there are other factors to consider. One of the things to prepare is lighting. In the winter, it gets darker earlier, which means you're going to need to prepare to light your house longer if the power is out. Some of the things I like to do are to make sure that I have flashlights with extra batteries. I've got an LED headlamp and I make sure that it's charged. I also have some solar powered string lights that I have in the house, although they don't make it bright enough for me to see a lot of things that I'm doing. They do give a little bit of ambiance. I also use candles sometimes, but I find that they're not necessarily a very safe option, especially with having pets and if you have any children around. One tip for you is to keep a flashlight in your main living area and also in your bedroom so you're not searching around in the dark for a flashlight. Another thing that winter power outages bring is having to think about heating. If your primary source of heat involves electricity, you're going to need to come up with some kind of a backup. If you have a fireplace or a wood stove, keeping some extra wood around to use in case of emergency is an excellent idea if you don't use your wood stove or fireplace regularly. There are indoor safe kerosene and propane heaters. Be sure that they are rated for indoor use and make sure that you also have battery operated carbon monoxide detectors around the areas where you're using these heaters. Make sure you have extra blankets or sleeping bags or extra clothing that you can layer on to keep you warm. You may want to also think about closing off rooms that you're not using to retain heat in your main living space. Another thing that you're going to want to remember for power outages is to keep canned goods or shelf-stable foods that you don't have to cook to prepare. If you don't have a propane stove, you are not going to be able to microwave stuff or use an oven. Some good options that you can get are canned foods, peanut butter, canned tuna fish, protein bars, trail mixes, nuts, things like that are great options to make sure you keep around for power outages. And also be sure to keep a manual can opener on hand. Water is another thing you want to think about. It's recommended to keep a gallon of water per person per day on hand. What I do personally is I fill empty vinegar containers with water and I keep those on hand for preparedness at all times. Another thing you're going to want to do is keep communication type devices powered, be it your phone or a battery operated radio or one of those special NOAA radios. I got one of these advanced NOAA weather radios. It's got AM, FM, shortwave, and 7 pre-programmed national weather bands. It's got a flashlight. It's got a reading lamp. It's got a small solar thing on the top of it so that you can maybe charge it by solar. It's got a built-in USB port so you can charge external things and you can also charge it. It has an alarm on it. That's cool. It's got a flashlight. Of course, the radio. Shut off. Oh, this one is a reading light. Somewhere there's a reading light on here, right there. There's a reading light on it. It was fairly inexpensive. I say fairly inexpensive. I think it was around $40. but it is definitely good to have on hand just in case. If you get bored, you can listen to the regular radio, and of course it has the weather radios on it. Another thing about winter power outages that is a little different than something in, say, the summer is that you're going to want to make sure that your home plumbing does not freeze up. Now, if you are on a municipal water source, you may have pressure for quite a while after the power goes out. If you are on a well, that could be an entirely different story. Something that you may not think about is that if you are on a well and it is cold enough that your pipes may freeze, you're going to want to try to see if you can run the water just a little bit through your pipes, a little bit of dripping. The problem with being on a well is that your tank, generally the well will fill up a tank and then the tank is pressurized and will feed your home. When you have power, that is a continuous thing where when you use the water, the tank will refill itself. But if you don't have power, your tank is not going to refill. If there's water in the tank before the power goes out, you will have a little bit of water that you can run until that tank empties. You should be able to run your faucets at a very, very small stream or a drip to keep them from freezing up. Another good thing would be to know where your water shutoff, where your water shutoff is for where your water comes into your house. Probably easiest in the winter to locate the one inside your house if you have one. That way, if you are on a well or if the municipality water stops flowing, you can shut off the water and then open the pipes, and hopefully the water will drain out and they won't freeze up and burst when they thaw back out. Another thing you can do is to open up your cabinets under your sinks to allow warm air to circulate underneath them so they won't freeze up under there. If you're able to, a preventative would be to get some of that pipe insulation that you can put around your pipes. That'll help them from freezing. Another thing to think about with winter power outages are your pets. They can get cold too, and they rely on you for safety. Things that can keep your pets comfortable are warm bedding. Make sure you have food and water for them. Having battery-operated lights can help you when you're trying to take care of them at night, especially if you have to bring them outside or feed them. And make sure if they have any medications, they're in an easily accessible location. One thing you can do now before the lights go out is you can prepare a simple power outage kit. You can put all these items together in a bag or in a tote and keep them in one place for whenever the power goes out. Some good items to keep in your power outage kit would be flashlights and extra batteries, blankets, shelf-stable food, a first aid kit, a fully charged power bank, and matches or lighters. And then you'll just want to store the kit in a spot that's easy to get to. While planning and preparing for winter outages is great, there are some things you also need to make sure that you do not do. You do not want to use outdoor grills and generators inside your home. These give off carbon monoxide and other fumes that can be toxic and kill you. You don't want to run your car inside an enclosed garage. If you're using candles, make sure you do not leave them unattended. And another thing that can be a fire hazard that can often be overlooked is if you are running a generator outside and you're using extension cords to run things inside the house, don't overload the extension cords. If you do have a generator, one thing that you definitely want to think about is having extra fuel around and some fuel stabilizer to keep the fuel fresh. Another tip, if you don't have an alternative heat source, is to use one room and set up a tent in the room or make some kind of a blanket fort in the room and shut the room off and then sleep sleep underneath the fort. This is a way to create a microclimate with your body heat in where you're sleeping and in a confined area so that the heat won't dissipate as much as if you were just sleeping in your bedroom with the door open. One thing that I like to do to prepare is to come up with what if situations. The power goes out frequently around here, but it's usually not all that long. I like to think about what would happen if the power is to go out for longer. I do have a generator, so do I have fuel and does it have stabilizer in it? I don't run the generator overnight, so how am I going to heat the house at night? I do have a wood stove, but it has an electric motor to push the fan through the house. A thing that I can do if it is extra cold is I can put a chair in my room that has my wood stove, and I could sleep in there. May not be comfortable, but I could sleep in there. If I think the power's going to go out, I'll fill a 5-gallon bucket with water so that I can just easily flush the toilet if I need to. Another thing is that I have shelf-stable food on hand a lot. I have a propane stove, so I don't have a problem cooking in if the power goes out. But I also keep propane tanks for my grill outside, which is easily accessible. If I do need to cook something outside on the grill, I can get to it, and I do have fuel for that. Power outages can be pretty unpredictable, but preparing for them is what's going to make the difference between panic and just riding out the storm in a calm. The more you prepare now, the easier it'll be. I hope these tips are helpful for you for short power outages. Let me know what you guys do to prepare in the comments down below. Please be sure to hit the like button and subscribe if you want to see more content like this. See you in the next one.